Okay, sounds like I'm getting some background noise. I'm not really sure if it's from my fan or what, but sorry about that. It doesn't really get picked up in TeamSpeak, just in my recording software, so whatever. Anyway, I'm going to do two different warping tricks right now. The one I was talking about in Discord is the stasis web trick. Basically, you just trick the game into figuring out. Basically, you shortchange the math on the velocity of the ship that you're in, and it winds up getting you into warp almost instantly. The first one I'm going to show you, though, is the Cloaky warp trick. Some of you may already know this. It's common. There's a couple videos around on it. I'll just do this one real quick for the sake of completeness to show people kind of what they can do to kind of escape from dangerous situations. This one does require kind of some premeditation on your part, though. You will need a Tech 2 improved cloaking device for the max velocity modifier. Basically, you owe 25% of your normal velocity, which is important. You can still do it with the Tech 1 cloak. It is kind of hit or miss. It's not going to work every single time. And this method does take a lot of practice, but you absolutely have to have a cloak, and you absolutely have to have a micro warp drive specific for your class of ship. So since this is a Buster, the Tech 2 Industrial, I'm using a 50MN. And so this one is not an insta warp. What it does, the goal is basically you're never targetable is the goal. So getting travel view overview up, cloak micro warp drive, the only thing on the fit that's not passive modules. And so what we'll do initially is we're going to align to our target, which is going to be Alucara. I'm going to hit the micro warp drive, and then I'm going to cloak. And then I'm going to immediately cancel the micro warp drive, and once the cycle gets down to about 10%, we'll turn the cloak off. So I'll show you how to do it here. Okay, so you were not targetable that entire time. We immediately cancel the micro warp drive. It's still cycling, but it's not going to finish. And then we're going to spam warp 2 and turn off the cloak. And see how we instantly got into warp. We weren't even done cloaking, and we were already warping. You can use any bonus webbing ship. It doesn't particularly matter. I prefer bonus to range, so what you can do is sit your stasis webifying ship at the center of the gate, and as long as you can hit out to at least 16 kilometers, you'll be fine every single time. I used to take freighters into low-sec doing this, and so you can't see it on my other screen, but I've got them in my Shimu at 0 on the other screen, and maybe I'll do a second video to show you how to actually do it with that ship too. I guess that would probably make the most sense. So yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll do it twice and do it that way. Just like passive. And so the most important thing is just to have 2 webs. And to make sure your overview is set up correctly. Right now, I don't think we can do this in the Corp, because if I remember correctly, when I looked earlier, friendly fire is illegal. And that is a good thing to have in HiSec, because it prevents people from joining your Corp and griefing you. The one thing it does prevent is this particular method of getting through gate camps and all that kind of crazy stuff. This is especially useful if you're moving stuff around in HiSec that's expensive and you don't want to get ganked. That's primarily what I used it for. Or even if you want to move a freighter a really long distance and you'd rather not wait, the huge amount of time it takes you to align each time, you can shave, I think it's like 40 seconds without implants for a inertial stabilizer freighter to move from system to system. And so I've gone back, I've gotten in my Charon. I am inertial stabilizer fit, which puts my align time at almost 30 seconds. And so now I'll undock, make sure I didn't have any cargo. It's bulkheads, okay. My Shimu is on the other gate already, the same gate, the Alucara gate. So I'm going to warp over, I'm sorry, the New Caldera gate. I'm going to warp over there, basic goal of this is you jump your ship through the gate. You already have your stasis webifying ship on the other side. And so I've got my Ishimu sitting in New Caldari on the Jita gate at 0. As soon as the freighter decloaks and starts aligning, you target the ship you're trying to web, in this example, the Charon. You target it with the Ishimu. You wait about 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds, and then you apply the webs, and you'll instantly go into warp. Alright, jumping through the gate. Alright, anytime you go through a gate, you've got a 1-minute timer. You can see Scouter says 9,000 WTF. That's my very old high-sec Ishimu pilot. I am going to say I want to go to Alikara again. So I'm going to hit D, which does warp 2, or you can right-click and hit warp 2, but I'm going to hit D and then warp 2, which will immediately pull my decloak. And then on my other screen, my Ishimu, I'm going to lock and web my freighter, and we will instantly be in warp. See? Instantly in warp. We warp sideways. Okay, this is us in the Ishimu now. You can actually ignore the sensor booster. I was using that for something else. Basically, I've got 2 Dread Gristis stasis webs on here, and with her skills, I think she's only got a Mar Cruiser at like 2 or 3. It's not very high. 2, yeah. So that means she's not going to get a huge boost from the actual hull bonus on the Ishimu. It gets 20% per level of a Mar Cruiser. That's we're only getting a 40% bonus on the initial range. But 23 is far enough. Really, it only needs to be 16 if you're doing it correctly. I will position my Ishimu basically at the center of the gate. If you don't know this, anytime you go through a gate, you spawn within 15 kilometers around the gate. So if you don't get in the center of the gate, say I was 15 kilometers over here or 10 kilometers over here, and my Rhea spawned on the other side, that means I would be 25 plus kilometers away, and that wouldn't work. I wouldn't be able to get my my Charon instantly into warp. And so you got to be careful about doing that kind of stuff. Okay, so my Charon just landed on the gate, so we're going to go through so I can show you what this looks like from beginning to end. So say that I had already warped my Charon through this gate, to this gate rather, and I was trying to get my Ishimu ahead of it. And so I would get my Ishimu in, I would immediately reapproach the gate, micro warp drive on, get back to the gate, get down to a distance of 0. Take it a second. And then my Charon is getting in range on the other side. Okay, so we're at 0 on this side. We can turn the micro warp drive off. Just kind of sit here. Charon is coming through now. And so, like I said earlier, everything will have a 1-minute cloak timer after it goes through a gate. There's no way to really mess that up. Charon just came through the gate, saw the gate flash. You can either set up a personal overview that shows fleet members or corp members, or just kind of zoom out if you've got a large monitor like me, and you'll see what happens. So I'm initiating warp now on the other screen, and there it is. Charon pops up. Wait about 2 seconds, and initiate both your webs. And away the Charon goes. It's no longer targeted, and it's technically, the game already thinks it's in warp, and so it just warps sideways off the field. And so now you know how that trick works.